mind, that open heart to that which is evil. Amen. But God, saints, He does speak to people in the vision of the night, and when deep sleep falls upon men, and slumbering upon his bed, then He opens the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. God will give an instruction through the dreams. All right, so He gives the dreams. We also see, we're not going to read Acts 10 and 14, how that Peter went into a trance or even a vision. He went and as he's sitting on the housetop fasting, there comes down before him the sheet that was full of all kinds of meat that a Jew wouldn't normally eat, and we know the story. But in this, God was giving him a instruction and letting him know that in the human family, or when it comes to the things of God, we don't consider people unclean. All right, because God was about to call him to go into a Gentile area. God was about to cause him to go into another area of ministry, and He says, "What I have cleansed, don't call unclean." Amen. And so that was that was God showing him something, and something like something that took place right before him. Amen. There is also the hearing. Again, some people see. God deal with people in different ways. Some people see things. Some things will come before their eyes, and then God will cause us to hear. And I think a very interesting display of this is in 1 Samuel. Amen. We are familiar with Samuel's call, how the Lord began to deal with him and call him into greater ministry. And so that's Samuel, I believe, 1 Samuel chapter number 2, and around the 15th verse, we see this development. Amen. Okay, I'm wrong. Maybe it's the 21st. Amen. Well, if somebody knows where that is, let me know. But we know what happened with Samuel. He's laying on his bed, and Eli is in another room, and he hears someone call his name. Samuel hears somebody call him, and he thinks it is Eli. So he goes to Eli, and he says, "Father or Master, you called me." Eli said, "I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't call you." And he sends him back. And I think this happened 2 or 3 times that he went to Eli because he heard the voice calling him. And Eli, who is he's not backslidden, but he's not hearing from God like he used to. But he does recognize that maybe something is happening here. Amen. And he tells Samuel, the next time you hear the voice, say, "Yes, Lord." Amen. Or in some form. Chapter 3. All right, so let us read there. 1 Samuel chapter number 3. Amen. All right. All right, so we'll pick up. And the Lord called Samuel again to his upright. The Lord called Samuel, and he answered, "Here am I." So that's the 4th verse you're reading, all right. The 4th verse. I think it starts at the 4th. The Lord called Samuel, and he answered, "Here am I." And he ran unto Eli and said, "Here am I, for you called me." And he said, "I called not, lie down again." And he went and lay down. And the Lord called yet again, "Samuel." And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, "Here am I, for you did call me." And he answered, "I called not, my son, lie down again."
Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. Go on.
Yes, go on.
And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for you did call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be. And if he call you, that you shall say, Speak, Lord, for your servant hears. So Samuel went and lay down in his place.
Amen. All right, so again, so it was three times that the Lord called him, but again, he was not familiar with this. Samuel did not know, he did not understand what was going on. He had not been hearing from God up to this time, and so this is his first really introduction of hearing the voice of the Lord. Amen. So again, he goes to Eli, and Eli perceives that it was the Lord, and he sends him back and says, when the next time you hear that call, say, Speak, Lord. And that is exactly what happened. The 10th verse, and the Lord came and stood and called as other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. All right. So he was open. All right, and this is a clear call. This is a very clear voice that is coming to him. And we know how powerful Samuel was in the things of God, amen, and how God greatly used him. All right. But we see this that Samuel was able to hear, and I believe Samuel was also a seer. Amen. A seer. Now all these ways that God speaks to us, but throughout the day, saints, God is also speaking, and often that comes through impressions and just it can come from a feeling, it coming from a word. God can just speak a word to us, and from that spring forth some instruction or some direction from the Lord. Amen. And so anytime we experience these things, we need to be able to judge them and see if they're of God. Amen. Make sure we're not hearing our own voice or some foreign voice. Amen. And so again, Job talked about the dreams. I believe I'll end in this area, but God often speaks through dreams. We know that in Genesis 41 and 20, that God began to gave a dream to the king, and that dream was of lean cows eating fat cows, and the king, I believe it was Joseph, who was able to interpret these, but the king was upset because it troubled him, and he went to his people, and they couldn't explain the dream, and but God used someone who was able to interpret what was going on, and God elevated Joseph through this, having this understanding of famine is going to come. I believe it was five lean cows and five fat cows, and the interpretation was that the lean cows would eat up the fat cow, and what was happening was that famine was coming. And so with this dream and this foretelling of what's going to happen, also came wisdom. The wisdom was that you need to store up during the fat years. Store up, all right? Don't eat up everything, but put it away, because after these fat years are going to come lean years, and if you have the storage, then you're going to be a blessing. You're going to survive. You're not only going to survive, but you're going to be a blessing to the whole region. And so other people from other places would come to them because they had plenty, because of the wisdom of God telling them to store up for those during those fat years, so that they'll have plenty during the lean years, or when the famine was going to come. Amen. And so God speaks through dreams. And so in dreams, sometimes there's a lot of symbolism. It's not direct, the things that happen in dreams, and God was speaking. So those things have to be interpreted often. They have to be interpreted. I had a dream some years ago, and I was telling somebody that dream, and I mentioned that I've told it here, but for leaving a house project, I went to the bathroom before we to leave, and then something spoke to me while I was in there. But anyway, they said the bathroom is a good thing, because what happens in the bathroom? You're getting rid of stuff, right? You're getting rid of waste, and you're getting rid of, you're eliminating. You're getting rid of stuff, right? So they say that's good. The bathroom is good in a dream, but it depends on how you feel sometimes. Depending on what you see, a flood can be good, and a flood can be bad, depending on how you feel, depending on what is happening in the flood. A snake, we think a snake is a bad thing, but is that snake biting you, or is that snake wise? Or it just depends on how you're feeling. It depends on the context. It depends on what's going on, and so interpretation becomes necessary, and understanding. Amen. So we can pray for the understanding, or we can just have the understanding. Amen. But God speaks, and God does he does do it in different ways. Amen. All right. I am done with that part. Amen. And so we're going to cut off the live. Amen. Because I don't know, this is a more intimate time.